Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Sandy Smith, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Corporal Daniel Hodson. Today, we commemorate the 27th anniversary of the Black Hawk training accident in which 18 men lost their lives. On the evening of the 12th of June 1996, 6 Australian Army Black Hawk helicopters from 5th Aviation Regiment were conducting a counter-terrorism training exercise near Townsville, Queensland. To simulate real operational conditions, 4 of the aircraft were flying in close formation and in blacked-out conditions. Night vision goggles were relied upon heavily. Aboard were troopers from the Special Air Service Regiment. As the formation approached the target, suddenly one of the Black Hawks veered sideways, its main rotor destroying the tail section of the adjacent chopper. Both quickly went down, one making a hard landing but on fire, and the other plummeting to earth and bursting into flames. The other Black Hawks quickly landed, with some men jumping metres to the ground in a rush to aid their comrades. The bravery, speed and professionalism of those at the scene of the disaster was later praised. 14 men were decorated. But it is, and still is, a devastating blow to the 2 regiments and to the wider Australian Special Forces community that 15 troopers from the Special Air Service Regiment and 3 pilots from the Army's 5th Aviation Regiment were killed. Another 12 were injured. Today, we pay our respects to those who lost their lives in this tragic accident and to the survivors, their comrades and family members. We warmly welcome Danielle de Bedrossan, representing the Armenian National Committee of Australia. And as always, we welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the national anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. With golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is got by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Private Arthur Benjamin Brown. Arthur Brown was born in Sydney on the 17th of September 1896, the only son of Abraham and Emily Brown. When his parents separated, Arthur lived with his mother in Murwillumbah, where he found work as a cook and a labourer. Brown travelled to Lismore, where he put his age up in order to join the 15th Battalion on the 21st of September 1914. He served for a little over a month before being discharged as medically unfit. Undeterred, he enlisted again, this time at Enoggera in Queensland on the 17th of November. Allotted to the reinforcements to the 15th Battalion, he embarked from Brisbane aboard the troop ship Siang B on the 13th of February 1915, bound for Egypt. Brown was probably taken on strength of the battalion upon arrival in Egypt, returning to Siang B when the 15th Battalion embarked for Lemnos in early April in preparation for the Gallipoli campaign. The 15th Battalion landed at Gallipoli during the afternoon of the 25th of April and was immediately thrown into the front line, digging in around Pope's Post. Rather than a mobile campaign as envisaged by the planners, Gallipoli soon became a stalemate, a smaller version of the Western Front. From May until August, the front line was relatively stable, until the 6th of August, when the Allies launched a major offensive to advance to the Dardanelles and capture the forts defending the Narrows. That night, the 4th Brigade, including Brown's 15th Battalion, advanced into the Sari-Baire range towards Hills, Quebec and 971. By the following morning, the exhausted Australians, who had become lost during the night, were well short of their intended objectives and were allowed to dig in and rest. On the 8th of August, the 14th, 15th and 16th Battalions advanced and came under heavy Ottoman fire. The 15th Battalion suffered severe casualties and was forced to withdraw. The assault on Hill 971 ended as a dismal failure. The 15th Battalion had gone into the attack 850 men strong. After the battle, it could muster only 280. Among the dead was Arthur Brown, whose body was unable to be recovered. Officially listed as 21 years old, he was not yet 19 when he was killed in action. Today, his name is commemorated on the Lone Pine Memorial to the missing. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today by the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Arthur Benjamin Brown, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support during the memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.